Ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to do a video giving my thoughts on Cable versus Gwenpool now that we have both of the champions, and giving you a bit of an insight into the problem with Cable at the moment, and something that nobody could have predicted. It was not available beforehand, and that is mainly the hidden stats of the champion. So let's go into Cable, guys, and I'll show you what I mean by hidden stats. So these stats actually aren't hidden anymore. They are available. If you go into attributes, you can see the crit chance, the crit damage, and block proficiency of the character. Now the crit chance and crit damage are one of the lowest in the game by quite a large amount, and crit chance, you know, per individual point is amazing. It's just so good, and crit damage obviously has an excellent synergy with that. If you're doing more crits, you want to be dealing more damage, but for the most part, a lot of the highest damage synergy teams in game involve, you know, getting a lot of extra crit. And when you do have those points in cruelty and precision to get 50% more crit damage and 10% more crit chance, you will feel like that makes quite a huge difference to your characters and rosters overall. So look at this. This is a rank 2 5-star Cable, so very similar to a 440 4-star champion. You can see we've got 11% crit chance and 144% crit damage. Now, let's look at another character. Let's look at Deadpool X-Force, who is again around a similar kind of power level to Cable, and you will see that kind of the average champion around this level does have the crit chance of 20%, so that's a full 9% more, pretty much the precision mastery right there, and then an additional 46% crit damage, which is pretty much the cruelty mastery there as well. So that is one of the things that is making Cable a very, very underwhelming champion for a lot of people that get him. And it's something that, you know, it's a piece of information that wasn't available until the champion was actually released in the game, until you actually rank up the champion. It wasn't in the character spotlight anywhere. So yeah, that kind of sucks for the first few people to get the champion, because unless they add them into the character spotlights, just another example showing you guys that the average is about, you know, for this kind of rank, it's about 20% crit chance and about 190% crit damage. Now, these aren't even the strongest characters in terms of those base stats in the game. If you want to see the entire list of some of the strongest, like Symbiote Spider-Man, these are actually on 550, so they're slightly higher chances, but some of the highest ones have a 29% crit chance and 240% crit damage when fully ranked up. Now, where does Cable come on this list in marvelbitforchamp.ru? Well, it's right down the bottom, guys, right down the bottom. Granted, he's not right at the bottom, but he's kind of in the bottom 20% of champions in terms of, you know, his crit chance and crit damage, and also the block proficiency as well. His block proficiency ain't terrible, but it's not in the kind of 60% region that you need it to be to get perfect blocks on your parries. So you're going to be taking a little bit of chip damage every time you parry as well. So those kind of two things combined really do take quite a bit away from the champion. In terms of his gameplay, he has still, like, excellent utility with his level 3. It gives you True Strike, which allows you to bypass evasion and also armor and resistance. So there are a lot of nodes in Alliance War, where that can be very useful. His regeneration, I kind of wish it was a little bit more powerful, but I imagine if, you know, we go to take the character to rank 3 or maybe even rank 4 as a 4-star, it kind of might get to the level where it's fairly decent. I guess one of the advantages of, you know, Cable in comparison to Gwenpool is Gwenpool has some very, very hard matchups that will counter her and absolutely wreck her, like Mordo or Black Panther Civil War, because she applies a stun on her, well, has a chance to apply a stun on a bleeding target with basic attacks, and there is no way to turn that off. So if you fight a Mordo, if you fight Black Panther, you're just going to either get that reflected, or you're going to get the degeneration and evade out, and you are going to die. So he doesn't have, like, a hard counter in that regard. He's just a little bit lacking, and it really is those base stats that take a lot away from the character. So I'm just disappointed, guys. I'm disappointed that this information wasn't a little bit, you know, available before people could get the champion in the game and find out this stuff. But to be honest, he's still gonna be like a good rank 3 and rank 4 option. I imagine when we get into rank 4, he's gonna be well above the power level for anything in the game. And in terms of the prestige, man, he's gonna be so ridiculously good that I'm gonna probably end up taking the character to rank 4. It's just those base stats, man. They are absolute garbage tier base stats. They are so incredibly terrible for kind of offensive tier champions. So I'm really disappointed in that, but kind of that has you know, led me as well. It's taught me a very valuable lesson about before doing like a proper review on a character and making some good thoughts. We need that info as well. We need that base, the hidden stats info, because that does make up so much additional damage, and also just so much additional like survivability. It's also very good to bear in mind the block proficiency. So overall, I think that made Cable a little bit disappointing. So that was stuff that was taking, you know, away from Cable. However, Gwenpool, guys, if she can bleed the target and you're not fighting a Mordo or Black Panther or Agent Venom or Crossbones, anybody that can shrug off debuffs, Gwenpool's damage is ridiculous. Like, she is so incredibly insane. With the bleeds that she can stack, you're just dealing like so much damage, especially if you're kind of getting the stun and also parrying and using a heavy attack. My record on Winter Soldier at the moment is 144 hits, and that is with a rank 3 Gwenpool. So out of the two characters, as you know, I'm going to have to make the choice fairly soon. Which one of the two do I want to take up to a rank 4 champion? I've got the Cable who's going to be duped and maybe a little bit better for prestige, but Gwenpool is overall higher for prestige, I believe anyway. I just need to double check that actually, unawakened. But I think in terms of like Act 5, she's just a ridiculously damage. Her damage is like absolutely absurd. I cannot explain to you like how ridiculous I believe her damage to be a rank 4. I'd love to see some rank 4 Gwenpool gameplay, because I'm sure it would just be absolutely through the roof. So I really do like my Gwenpool. It's just the fact that, you know, there are a lot of Mordos, and Mordos are going to be a lot more common in Alliance War, and there are already quite a few Black Panther Civil Wars in Alliance War that make me very hesitant to use her for that. And in terms of Alliance Quest, I think she might be a decent option. The problem I'm having in AQ at the moment is I'm only having to use pretty much regen champions in my 4. Because in our current build, because we've been farming so much arena, we're still running with the full suicide masteries. So if I don't use regen champions, like my characters are dead after a couple of fights. So that at the moment doesn't make Gwenpool a very good option for me, but that's also partly due to the fact that, you know, my masteries are built to grind arena at the moment and not built for Alliance Quest. So we're kind of struggling along there, but once I go back to kind of a more mid-range setup, I believe she's going to be a really good option for that as well. But out of the two characters, I must say, I'm greatly preferring Gwenpool more now. In my kind of initial thoughts video, when we had like a very limited information on the champions just based on their descriptions and didn't have the full signature abilities, I predicted Cable to be a slightly better character, but I think the thing that just, you know, takes away from Cable so much is just having that, lacking those base stats. Like, that is a huge thing. If we look at Gwenpool as rank 3, she's got 22% crit chance. That's like double base crit in comparison to Cable. Granted, she is like 1 rank higher, but also has amazing crit damage. Block proficiency, you know, we knew her block proficiency wouldn't be quite up there, but you know, she definitely makes up for it in terms of the damage she deals. It's absolutely insane. I think Gwenpool in comparison, again, it's really hard to give you guys an accurate comparison of both of the champions in terms of their damage output, but I think Gwenpool has the potential, especially when you get the level 3, to deal about 3 times, maybe even 4 times Cable's damage, because that armor break combined with the bleeds, combined with the longer fights, is just, it's ridiculous, guys. It is an absurd level of damage, and while Cable has some really nice defensive ability, accuracy, and utility, and regen, it doesn't really seem like enough to kind of make him like a super god tier champion. I'm very interested. Again, I need to kind of like just keep on playing the character, rank him up to rank 3 as well, so I have him on an even playing field with Gwenpool. But I think it's very likely that she is still going to be my favorite of the two characters. He's just a disappointing character to play. That's the, you know, you have this guy with like an absolutely huge gun, you're going to be dealing crazy damage, you're going to be seeing crits fly off the wall, but you know, because he has such low crit chance and crit damage, you don't really get that. You just get very disappointing damage, his regen doesn't trigger too much, and yeah. overall, I'm just disappointed in Cable, guys, and wanted to kind of express that to any of the arena grinders, share some of my thoughts, because I know we have 3 Cable arenas happening this week, and a lot of people want to know some early thoughts on Cable. So, out of the 2 champions, Gwenpool was the winner, guys, in my opinion. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have a rank 3 or a rank 4 Cable? If you do, if you're Killer, or Kabam employee confirmed, guys, what do you think of the character? Do you have similar thoughts to me? Is he quite underwhelming? Has he surpassed your expectation? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very interested to get some more opinions on the character to see how people are liking him, but I just wanted to make you guys aware that his base stats are really, really garbage. So that was really disappointing for me to find out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy the video, guys, feel free to leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.